Welcome guys to another review with my good friend Volvo Kristian. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
We haven't made a video in quite a while now. I think a few months ago,
Yeah.
maybe it was the Volvo C40 versus the EX30, or
Yeah, probably that was the one.
maybe it was the EX30 versus
The
the
smart
hashtag one.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, at least
Yeah.
it's been a while. You've been busy. I've been very busy. I've been to Spain driving this and other cars also. But I thought it would be really cool to make a video with you again where we explore this together. I've had this for almost a week now. I've also driven it on multiple occasions. As I said, I've driven it in Germany. I've driven it in Spain. But this is the first time you're going to drive it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm pretty curious to see what you think. I'm skeptical to
Giving me the keys, yeah?
No, not to giving you the keys. I'm skeptical that you may be a little bit negative about this, considering the price
Yeah.
point. That is my prediction. Let me know, guys. Do you think Kristian is going to be positive or negative? Because this is a very good car, but it is...
It is quite expensive as well, especially in this configuration here.
Yeah.
SQ6. Yeah, it's a hairy one.
So that's what we're going to find out
Yeah.
in today's video. So I've talked about this several times in quite a few videos. I really like the exterior styling of this car. I like the front end, I like it in profile, I like it from the rear. And as the engineers or the designers have said, who have made this car, the team which I've met on multiple occasions, like the team who have made this car have said that it's basically the E-Tron GT, but in SUV shape. And I kind of agree. But what do you think, Kristian, of the exterior styling?
It's a kind of stretch to say it's an E-Tron GT. that's a stretch. I saw an E-Tron GT just over here now, and yeah, that is a real beauty. I think this is it's a more shrunken Q8, but the front end, maybe there's some E-Tron GT vibes going on. I'm kind of torn on the exterior. It's kind of handsome. It's not offensive in any way. It's sleek, but I think there's too much going on in the front, especially when you have like a white exterior.
Okay.
Then the front will really, the black one will really pop out, and maybe too much for me. Here now on this gray, it's not that bad, but I think it's just too much going on. I think they should have done like the exterior paint, some panels to cover up some of the black elements.
So we have this split headlight design. So we have on top here the DRLs, and then we have the actual low beams and high beams here, split like we have in the Porsche Macan, which this is closely related to. They're both built on the PPE platform, which is Volkswagen Group's new platform premium electric, which they call it. There's their new premium electric platform. If you want to say it in a more, I don't know, more natural way.
Premium platform electric.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually kind of like these headlights.
Yeah,
they are really,
me too,
really cool, especially when you start it up. You have this startup sequence.
Yeah,
Looks
yeah.
pretty good. So the lights, pretty good. It's just the black things. But on this paint, it kind of works because it doesn't stand out too much.
I kind of agree. Like, there's a lot of things happening, and this is the SQ6 with also the black optics plus exterior package. So this is black, this is black. Like, if you go for base trim, I think it looks quite cheap and nasty and terrible. But I'm not a huge fan of Daytona gray. I know that is a very popular Audi color in the past, but I think it just hides all the lines. One of my favorite configurations of this car was the Q6 I drove in Spain, which was white with the black package.
Yeah,
and
I
even though
that. Yeah.
I do agree it looks busy, but for me somehow it just works. I just really like it. I think this is one of the most striking angles of this car, the profile. And they've talked about this a lot when I went to the different presentations of this car, again talking with the team, where they've given it a very strong hood, where you can see it is very long, especially from the center of the wheel and to the door. It has very typical rear wheel drive proportions, unlike a lot of Audis in the past. And if you look at this in profile, compared to something like an Audi Q4 e-tron, the Q4, the greenhouse starts almost like over the wheel. So this gives it a very, a very long and sleek stance. where you get that traditional 3-box or 2-box shape where it is, you know, that traditional SUV shape. I really like it. And also you have these creases, you have the shoulder lines there, which is very reminiscent of the E-Tron GT. So what's your thoughts on profile?
The side profile are actually quite good. As I said before we started the video, I wish it was slightly lower, but it will get lower in a dynamic mode.
Yeah, this car has air suspension, so if you put it in dynamic, it goes down on its suspension. Yeah.
There's two things I'm picking up. The one thing that I'm not so keen on, this black part again, more plastic. Wish it was in body color. But then the highlight for me are this shoulder line here. Starting already from the rear door and just building up. That looks actually pretty good. Just following over in the taillights. So that is pretty strong, and I actually kind of like that. Looks more beefy.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially looking at it like straight here, you just see very E-Tron GT-esque with that, you know, with that shoulder line, that hip line. Yeah, it's really nice. I'm a huge fan of this car, especially from this angle, but we're gonna get into it when we look at the interior, because this very, you know, striking design feature actually is a disadvantage on the interior.
Yeah, maybe. But what is this about, Chris?
Oh, this is the new Audi badging where they put the Audi.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know why they do that.
Is the car so similar that you have to remind yourself, okay, I have SQ6.
Every time you get into the car, you're gonna
what
like,
car do I
bought the SQ6 and
I bought the SQ6. But it's a cool little touch.
Yeah.
It's at least better than what Polestar did with these stickers.
Oh, I prefer the Polestar way.
You do it?
Yeah.
Wow. I think this looks more discreet. Yeah. So the last part with the exterior, the rear end. Once again, it's handsome, not offensive in any way. There's nothing. It's okay.
You're not impressed.
It's just like potato. It's there's nothing that I really pop out that I like or that I dislike. It's just okay. It's a cool looking. The light signature, yeah.
Yeah, it looks very E-Tron GT like this rear light signature.
And I think on when it's getting dark, this looks probably very good.
Yeah. So the only gripe, you know, I really like the exterior styling, as I've said in this video and in other videos. My only gripe with this is that I can't see a difference between the Q6 and the SQ6, except for the badging.
Yeah.
I can't tell the difference. Like if you equip like a Q6 E-Tron with the S-Line exterior package, and it used to be the way where you could really distinguish the S models from just the S-Line models. But there's going to be an RS Q6 E-Tron of this later. I've asked the engineers and they've confirmed it, so there's coming. So hopefully that will, you know, have beefier stands, maybe flared wheel arches, and that's going to be, a really cool car. Welcome to the interior of the SQ6 E-Tron.
Yeah, thank you.
What's your first impressions?
I actually kind of like it.
You like it?
More than last time I saw it.
Okay.
Because I've seen it once at this static presentation at the Audi dealership here in Norway. But at that time I wasn't quite intrigued. But now it's better.
So this is the SQ6 E-Tron, and this has the upgraded Nappa leather seats. We also have this microfiber.
This was sweet.
Dynamica, whatever they call it, on the dashboard and on the inserts of the doors, and also down here on the center console.
This is extra, or this is?
This is standard with this interior.
Yeah. That was nice, actually.
Yeah. So I really like this. There are a few things in this interior that I think are low rent, where they've cut corners where they really shouldn't. But also there are places in this interior where I'm like, yeah, that was absolutely the right decision.
Yeah, talking about the things you don't like, the door pockets. So much plastic on all sides, and also in the bottom. I said rubber. No, excuse me. It's a rubberized mat in the bottom, but the sides plastic. I think they should have done either this suede material or like a felt material, just for better noise insulation. But the steering wheel was actually quite cool.
It's a squircle.
It's a squircle. Yeah, this was actually kind of nice. Also with this centerpiece saying S. It's just a little detail to say that you have something else.
Yeah, yeah.
This is great.
No, so I'm like, below the waistline, there are hard touch plastics. I don't mind it because there are a lot of cars that are a lot worse, and you could argue at this price point it should be soft touch plastics, but like the touch points are really nice. You have this on the dashboard, you have it also here on the center console. You have, you know, volume buttons, like the switch gear is really nice. The stalks are nice. You have a lot of physical buttons, but my only gripe, like above high in the cabin, is around the door release. Feel that plastic there.
Yeah.
It just looks cheap and nasty in my opinion.
And even the grab handle feels like plastic.
But you have this cover, this like blind cover, where it's like, what's the point of that?
But something's missing. There's an option probably. Maybe
there's
maybe
no
memory seats.
No, this has memory seats. You have it on the panel there by the windows.
Ah.
No, so nobody has been able to figure out. Like I've been to quite a few presentations with this car, spoken to journalists from around the world, and we're like, what is this? Why is this? Why is there cover here? Like,
is it lifted from the Porsche Macan?
Nope, because the Porsche has a completely different interior. This doesn't share anything, maybe except for above the waistline of the car.
Is it lifted from another Audi? Q6, Q4, Q8?
Not Q4, not Q6, no, not Q8, not E-Tron GT.
Volkswagen?
Not that I'm aware of.
The first thing I thought was missing functions. There was supposed to be some buttons here for memory.
I think it's just a very cheap piece of trim where that panel, you open it up and there you can just remove the whole panel. There's a screw behind there. So that's my only gripe. And this also has the new MMI panorama infotainment system that I'm going to cover in a separate video, guys. But just, what's your first impressions?
I actually kind of like it. I really like it. It's curved towards me as a driver, but not too far away, so I can reach it. Touch, I really like it. We also have electric adjustable steering rack.
Yeah, the steering column is
steering column are pretty good. So and it also retracts when you're opening. There's again small touches.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is So for me, it's just the door pockets. Yeah, I remember my XC40, and that is priced from like 500 to 700, and they have felt on the inside.
Yeah, felt. Yeah.
Felt.
Not
felt.
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 Felt. You filthy bastard. I don't know. Felt.
Filth is like dirt. Felt is like nice type
fabric
of
material.
Fabric material.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I wish they could just do that. That is cheap to do. And if you want to put something in the door pockets, you don't get these vibrations, sunglasses and such.
Absolutely.
So yeah. But beside that, good seats. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels roomy, right?
It feels roomy. Yeah.
Let's hop into the back though, because that's not as impressive as the front. You remember when I was talking about the exterior proportions in profile, right? Where they made the hood very long. This does have a very long wheelbase and is also quite a bit longer than the Q4 E-Tron, but because they've moved the cabin backwards to give it that long hood, the actual cabin, the length of the cabin isn't much bigger than the Q4 E-Tron. So I'm sitting behind myself now. I'm about 178, 180 centimeters, depending on how you measure, 5'10", 5'11", and I have this much knee room. And I'm going to overlay some footage of me now sitting behind myself again in a Q4 E-Tron, and maybe I have like a half a centimeter less. So this really isn't much bigger. And the same goes for the trunk, where the Q4 E-Tron has 520 liters of trunk capacity. This has 526.
That's not that massive.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but overall it feels actually kind of nice. Also,
the interior is nice.
Yeah, the padded backrest on the backside of the front seats. Yeah. Good space, but it's kind of tight under the seats.
Well, I'm fine.
You're also stepping on this air vent.
Yeah.
Do you have the same or?
Yeah, but I have more room here. Maybe this seat is set a little bit higher. Maybe I sit a little bit low. And this is also moved a little bit forward. So I mean, if you're not like the tallest person, you're going to be fine here.
Yeah,
but I think like if you're buying a Q6 E-Tron because you want more room than a Q4, you're not going to get a lot more room. Like if you're on a budget,
Okay.
you don't have to stretch to this vehicle because you're not going to get a lot more rear leg room or trunk room. I think if you want an Audi electric SUV and you want a lot of rear seat space and trunk space, the Q8 e-tron is a lot better than this, in my opinion, because there's a lot more leg room in the rear. You have a much bigger trunk in that Q8 e-tron also. But this is nice, and you do have a flat floor. You don't get, or you don't have a perfect flat floor.
No, a little indentation here.
Yeah, so that's a little bit disappointing.
But how's the cushion? Is it hard or soft?
In the middle, I don't know. I've never tried it.
It's nice.
You like it?
Yeah, it
yeah,
works.
and you can sit. I mean, it's not it's fine.
It's not the widest.
No, I mean, there's a lot of room to the door, but then I'm not sitting in the seat is more center position. But yeah, it's nice, and you have a good height. The windows are big. You also have a big panoramic sunroof, so I think kids are gonna love it in the rear. Okay, Kristian, behind the wheel of the SQ6 E-Tron.
E-Tron.
So there are a few things I want to tell you about with this car. So if you want to turn off lane keep assist, you just hold the button on the stalk. You see there on the left stalk there, just hold it for a few seconds. And then it turns off. So now that's off. And also speed limit warning.
Yeah.
It is tethered to a shortcut button on the steering wheel. If you just straighten up the steering wheel again, you press this once, now it's off.
Holy, that's
so easy. And also you're in drive. If you do this, you're now in B and you're in full one pedal driving. So this is the first time Audi have full one pedal driving.
Okay.
They don't have it in the e-tron, Q8 e-tron, they don't have it in the Q4 e-tron, and not in the e-tron GT, but in this car they do have it.
I always turn it off, so for me I don't care about the one pedal drive.
I really like one pedal driving, so
but it was smooth that it's so easy to turn it on and off.
Yeah, and also all
this, I gotta have that easy accessible. But this one pedal drive, quite easy to just. I tested the Lotus Emeya a couple of days ago, and that was also pretty easy just to operate the one pedal drive. Yeah, just a gear pedal on the left side. So just in 3 different levels. I'm not sure if it's just on and off on this one.
Yeah, it's just on and off. It's just drive or B, and B is brake regenerative. That's one pedal driving.
But what are these pedals on the?
That's also regen if you want to do that manually.
Okay.
So you can also do that when you're in drive. So you're allowed to choose, and I think there are 3 different settings of regen.
Okay, so you do have different levels. Let's see.
Yeah, but now you're in B.
Yeah.
If you put it into drive, and then you have different levels. You see that?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's a lot of customizability, and it's easy to use. This is the SQ6 e-tron, so this has dual electric motors. The motors, according to the engineers, the team who made this car, are the exact same front and rear motors as you have in the Q6 e-tron Quattro, but where that car has 387 horsepower and does 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in like 5.9 or 6 seconds flat, this has 517 horsepower and does 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.3 seconds.
Oh, that's quick.
And has also, which is very impressive in today's market, a top speed of 230 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And that's even higher than my private vehicle, which is an Audi, I said, Porsche Taycan Cross Turismo 4. Mine only has 220 kilometers an hour top speed, so this is faster on the Autobahn.
That's got a stain.
So we're also on 4-corner air suspension. I think it's standard on the SQ6, where it's optional extra on the Q6 e-tron. And down here you have drive select mode, so it defaults to balanced.
Okay.
So you can see somewhere here it says balanced.
There's really much information in
this
a lot of driver cluster. But
we can go into, for example, you can press this and press it again, and you're now in comfort mode.
Okay. Where can I see? Oh, there we have it.
Yeah, you have off-road, balance, dynamic. And so if you go dynamic, you can try to do a launch here, or maybe it was too late, the red light, but...
Oh, the next time. Okay, but then the car will lower and also be more...
There's a graphic here where it shows now it's lowering, and then when it gets there, it's now at its lowest setting for that.
And I'm guessing it will also change the throttle mapping.
Yeah, so the steering weights up, you have more response from the throttle, the dampers stiffen up, the car lowers, the air springs also tighten up.
Okay, nice.
And this has more power on the rear axle, so it's rear bias.
Oh, nice. That is a very good
Yeah.
combination. I love when you have a slightly stronger rear electric motor. See if this one...
So I've driven this quite a bit on some twisty roads and pushed it. I drove it yesterday when it was rainy outside. I turned off the ESC.
Yeah, nice.
It has 100% defeatable ESC, and it will go wide.
Nice.
If you apply throttle in a
yeah.
corner or in a roundabout. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
That's what I heard.
But that is the best thing when you can actually disconnect the ESC. So you get some movement that it will slip.
So give it a little bit of throttle.
A little bit of beans. Oi. It definitely picks up.
Yeah, I think it's quick. I think it's
Yeah.
it feels quicker than the numbers suggest.
Yeah, 4.3.
4.3, yeah.
So it's faster than the Polestar 3.
It's faster than the Polestar 3.
That's
The Polestar 3
4.7.
performance is 4.7 with the same power
Yeah,
output.
same power output,
And I
517.
think this feels a lot quicker than that car.
But the weight figures, you know the weight on this one is like
It's
2.6?
2.4.
2.4, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
The Polestar 3 is like 2.6 or 7, yeah.
So it's a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
This is also quite a bit smaller vehicle than the Polestar 3 also.
Is it 470?
474.
Okay.
So it's about 15, 16 centimeters.
Yeah.
And where that Polestar has very short overhangs, it's actually a much bigger platform than Polestar 3. Did I say 4? I meant 3.
Yeah, because the Polestar 3 is like 490.
Yeah, 490, yeah.
Yeah. But that is a big exterior, but the space in the back is smaller. The luggage.
Well, on paper it's smaller than here, but I think in reality it's actually bigger, the Polestar 3's boot, than compared to this.
Yeah, because on paper it's like 468.
The 474.
No, 484.
484, and this is 526. Yeah. But I think in reality, because of how you measured the space, the VDA numbers, I think this is actually, I think the Polestar 3 is bigger.
Okay.
That's my experience after having seen these cars quite a bit now. So what does it feel like here on the motorway outside of Oslo? We're not, I mean, it's a motorway. Motorway is only 80 km/h speed limit, but...
Is it 20-inch alloys?
21-inch
21.
alloys. 21
Yeah,
inches.
because you get some, it's a little bit of rumbling.
Yeah.
But we have pretty rough pavement
here. Yeah. But I think it is noticeably more noisy when it comes to tire noise than the Q8 E-Tron.
Yeah.
The Q8 E-Tron is really,
that is really quiet.
car.
Yeah.
So this may be like priced similar to a Polestar 3 performance, like spec for spec, and similar like in performance, but I think the Polestar 3 is a lot more quieter, a lot more comfortable, built on a bigger platform, and also has a much more luxurious interior. And even when you put this car into comfort, so now it's going to raise its suspension and it's going to soften up everything, it's still not as compliant as the Q8 E-Tron. I think the Q8 E-Tron is just a little bit more lofty, a little bit softer, but it's still nice.
Yeah. We can take off the highway here and find some more twisty back roads. Maybe some speed bumps to check out the comfort.
Right here.
Right here. Sweet.
So we're now in comfort mode. On this road here, there are a few speed bumps. So I just want you to feel out what do you think about the suspension in comfort mode at least.
Okay. Okay, that was a pretty rough bump, but it's actually it managed to even it out slightly. I see this one.
But if you drive
pretty good.
Slowly, like instead of...
now I'm trying to provoke it. Okay, maybe we can do
just the
recommended
speed over speed bump.
I want to provoke it. It's actually quite good. And this is also running on 21.
Yeah, we're on 21-inch wheels.
And now we're shifting to dynamic to staggered setup. Yeah, we're shifting to dynamic to provoke it even more. We're back. So dynamic.
You like driving over speed bumps really quickly.
Yeah, sometimes you can't always drive in 30.
They're called speed bumps because you have to go slowly.
I was like 20 kilometers per hour. Where are you going, Mr. Bicycle Man?
So just go straight here.
You know,
So now we're
I
on
live in
some
Bergen.
cobblestone
Cobblestone,
covered
yeah.
street.
This is like when I lived in Bergen, cobblestone. And then you have to just drive like 40, 50, 60. Just hammer it. You have to feel the suspension, how it copes. But I'm actually quite impressed. It's rolling on 21s.
21s?
And even in dynamic, it handles it. Not with ease. You get it, yeah, you feel it in your body, but it's not directly uncomfortable.
So if we're going to compare this to the Q8 e-tron, which I think it's much closer to driving-wise than the Q4, I think there's a big gap between this and the Q4. This is not as comfortable, soft or compliant as the Q8 e-tron, but dynamically,
Right
it
or
is, just do it right here. Dynamically, it's in a completely different league, and just go straight right here.
Okay.
I think this is in a completely different league dynamically. Like when you put it into dynamic mode, the way it, controls its mass, the way the steering feels, the steering weights up really nicely. And even when you push it to the limits, when you're at the limit of tire grip on dry asphalt, you can actually feel the grip slipping away. So this actually has proper steering feel, at least on the limit. Okay. When you're just driving normally, I think it weights up artificially. It feels a little bit weird, but it does give a little bit of weight, which is nice.
Oh, this is thumbs up for me.
If you want an in-depth talk about this versus the Polestar 3, you guys got to check out our podcast, which is in Norwegian. So if you don't speak Norwegian, if you don't speak Swedish or Danish, you may not understand it, but I'm going to link it down below. It's called Elbilpodcasten, which is a podcast about electric cars, where we're going to film an episode later today where we're going to talk about this compared to the Polestar 3, which we have both driven. But taking the Polestar 3 out of the occasion, what is your final verdict of this Audi SQ6 e-tron, Kristian?
If we're going to put it in a scale from 1 to 10, exterior design, I think we're at 6 or 7.
Okay,
actually
that's
pretty
harsh.
Yeah, because harsh is actually quite good. You have to. I think 6 or 7 are actually quite good.
Okay.
I'm landing on 7. Okay, it's good, but it's not.
So 5's average. So
5 is very average. Okay, so this is good. I think 6 or 7 is good for this car for me. Interior design also the same, but the driving experience, I would actually rank that probably like 8. I actually enjoyed my test drive, even on 21 inch. Tried to provoke it over some speed bumps, testing out both dynamic and comfort, or was it balance it's called?
Balance, dynamic and comfort. We tested all of those modes.
Yeah, it's actually quite comfortable. It's not Q8 or like the fat e-tron comfortable. I think that is even more comfortable. Maybe it has more suspension travel. Yeah. Because especially on the rebound after you exiting the speed bump, I think it's not as soft as the Q8. No, it's even better. Yeah. But all in all, I think actually it's very good. So like total score maybe 7-ish. Yeah. The only thing are the price. Yeah, so the car spec here is 1,150,000, which is 100,000 euros. That is crazy. It's a lot of money. Yeah. It's a lot of money. You can get an SQ8 e-tron for the same amount of money. You're going to get more room. You're going to get a bigger battery pack, but you're going to get less efficiency. You're going to get a little bit less performance and slower charging, but a much more luxurious interior, a more luxurious car to drive, a lot more quiet, a lot more trunk space. So I think it depends on what you're looking for. If you want the latest and greatest, if you want, a big-ish, but not too big, performance, luxury SUV that drives great, which looks great on exterior, has a really nice interior, and also has the new MMI panorama infotainment system, which is Android-based. It's really nice to use. I've used it, in both my range test and in my long trip test. Go watch that video because this car actually did set a new record. So it is impressive in a lot of ways, but you are paying that premium for having the newest, best toy. Yeah, but as an electric car, it's also, in my opinion, significantly better than the Q8. As an electric car. As an electric car, I agree. Car for car, the Q8 is better, but as an electric car, I'm not sure if you have a bigger battery in this one, but you at least have 800 volts, compared to 400, and it charges like a monster.
Yeah,
270 versus 150 or something?
180.
180 on a Q8?
Yeah, Q8.
Huh.
If the 55 is 180 or 170.
Okay, but this is like 270.
Yeah, it's
So
a lot faster. It's a
as
lot
an electric
faster.
car, it's probably significantly better. And you have an electric deployable tow hitch in this
hitch,
one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's something I like.
What I would do is I spec'd a Q6 E-Tron Quattro, which is basically the same car with less performance, maybe a little bit softer setup. And I spec'd one too. My spec for about 950,000 kroners or about 85,000 euros. And I think at that price point,
Yeah, it's good.
it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I think the SQ6 E-Tron may be too expensive because at this price point, I would probably go for a Polestar 3 Performance.
Yeah.
You can get that
You
in
can
the
get that for the-
performance
yeah,
fully spec for the same
for the same
price as
price.
this. And I've driven that car also, and it's more luxurious, it's quieter, it has a much bigger interior. On paper, the trunk is bigger here, but I think in reality, that Polestar 3 has a bigger trunk and also a much better sound system and
Yeah,
also a
yeah.
more special car.
I have to agree with
Like,
you.
I like the
Yeah.
way this looks, but driving this for a week around Oslo and in the suburbs, it gets no attention at all.
No,
It just looks like an
it's
Audi
kind of
SUV.
bland. Yeah.
But I really like it. But I think this in white, the spec I had in Spain is the spec to go for.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot, guys, for watching. And again, if you want to, a deep dive into this versus the Polestar 3, which we're going to talk about in our podcast later today, go check that out. So thanks, Kristian, for
No worries.
participating in this video. And if you want more videos like this with Kristian, let me know in the comment section down below. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye.